Now, if you were sitting in your house during the lockdown and you're looking in your backyard thinking, geez, I'd like to put a nice little nook out the back there, a little office or a sleep out so I can have my own little space, look no further because Nook Homes, they're prefabricated. They are a beautiful looking item. On the phone to talk to us from Nook is Jade Stack. Good morning, Jade.
Good morning.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about Nook, where you're based and how long you've been going?
Yeah, sure. So we've been around for just under 2 years. We are based in Kumeu in Auckland. And yeah, basically we've only just shifted there recently. We've just moved into a larger premise since moving from Waimalku.
Hey, give us an indication of scale here. So you obviously build smaller, places, but how big do you go to? What's the biggest we can buy from you?
At the moment, our designs are about up to 130 square metres.
Wow.
So we can customise it larger if you want to, or yeah, right from 10 square metres right up to 130.
So if we get something like that, that's 130, because that's a big place, 130 square metres. Does that come in a couple of sections when it comes to site, or how's that work?
Yeah, that's right. So it'd come in multiple modules, and then we put the modules together on site. So we transport up to 12 metres in one length on one truck. And typically we like to stay under 4.5 metres wide on one truck just to keep the transportation costs really low.
Sure.
And are these all made, in a dry environment, in a factory sort of setting?
Correct, yeah. We make them all in our factory. So we fit up to 6 units all in one factory at a time. And then they roll out into our yard and we finish them off there, and then the truck picks them up and takes them off to site.
So how did all this begin? You've been going for 2 years. Obviously you saw a little bit of a gap in the market. A lot of people, it seems to be, are wanting smaller places or mum and dad putting a sleep out the back for them to retire into, and the kids can have the house, or the kids go out the back there. How did you guys kick all this off?
Yeah, well, we actually started off as the client, I suppose. So my partner and I, Brad, we were looking for a property of our own to purchase. We found a beautiful, well-established property with fruit trees and beautiful views. So we wanted to build small architectural, and so we started looking for the prefab options and just couldn't find anything. So yeah, we were like, well, maybe there is a gap in the market. So we sort of spent the house deposit on the business, but definitely been well worth it. So it's more of a hobby, I suppose, now. We're loving the journey.
And you're getting a few orders?
Yeah, definitely. So we're full till Christmas. And we're booking up next year. So we've got 19 nooks to build and deliver before Christmas.
Yeah, everyone wants to be in by Christmas, huh?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
They want to enjoy their space. I jumped on your website, and I love your small stuff. Obviously, to be honest,
yeah.
I ran into you guys at the Home Show a couple of years ago, I think. And
nice. That would have been our launch.
Yeah, that was your launch, and I really liked. I liked that you also had a point of difference. I liked the nice little sort of deck out the front of your little home sleep out and bits and pieces. It's that it was that poured sheeting. It was put it this way, it was different, and it looked very attractive. And now on your website I see that the tranquil nook, which I love because it gives you that sort of L-shaped situation. The Oasis, of course, looks very, very cool. Which is just that rectangular box. And I have to say, I really like the Serenity, how it ends up with that courtyarded section. Very, very nice architectural structures, and they look simple and elegant. So if I'm forgetting about the transport cost, because that's subjective about where you go, how much are you looking at? Do you base it on a square metre rate as a basic frame before it gets fitted out inside?
Yeah, that's right. So all of our nooks start with a standard square metre rate. I guess it just depends on what's included in each of the nooks. But as our base, we start at $3,400 a square metre, or just under, depending on the size. Obviously, the larger you go, it's slightly cheaper. And then all of the units can be customised, so they can go as bespoke as you sort of want to.
Yeah, that comes down to then materials and design are going to affect what your end cost is, right? So what are our options with cladding? Do you offer anything, like we can pick and choose, or do you have a few set options?
Yeah, that's right. So we've got a standard cladding, which we use DuraGroove. It's effectively like a fibre cement sheet that's got grooves in it.
Yep.
But it's really easy to maintain. It's got a really good warranty of 15 years. And then the clients can choose to customise basically any cladding they want. So one of our most popular claddings is cedar,
Yep.
Either applied as a rain screen or as a ship flap option.
Yep.
And then we've got a huge range that people can pick from, or they can come to us and say, hey, I want this cladding on my build, so can you price it up for us, and we'll do that for them.
And when they get shipped to site, do they already have the roof on them, like on each segment that goes out, or does it go to site and then the roof gets put on? How's it all work? What's the process?
Yeah, that's right. So the whole module is completed, ready to be basically lived in. So the only part that's not completed is where it joins.
Sure.
So typically, just like the roofing details, where the join is would be completed on site, and same with the internal linings. And then normally for like a 2-piece design will be on site for about 5 days, and for about 3-piece design will be on site for about 8 working days. Yeah.
a week. Wow, that's impressive.
I'm just looking at I think it's one of your smallest ones, the Hideaway Nook, 3.6 by 3.8. It says it's classified as a 10 square metre because the deck is not regulated, which makes sense. Now, you've got that there, 26,000 plus just. That seems incredibly cheap for... I don't think I would be able to build that myself for that sort of price.
Yeah, that one is cheap. I think the reason that we ended up bringing that one out initially, it was typically like a little office or whatnot at home. And people tend to add that onto a larger design. So typically it's paired with something as like a little out office for their main nook. So that was sort of just like a little add-on item, I suppose.
Is these new council laws that they're bringing out, so of, what are you going up to, you can build a sleep out up to 65 square metres, is that going to affect you guys in any way?
Yes, I think the regulation's up to 30 square metres, and you're not meant to have any plumbing in it. So the kitchen and bathroom, you're not meant to have, I guess they're wanting to regulate the plumbing. So to be honest, it really hasn't affected us. Most of the clients who are coming to us are wanting homes or batches that are sort of a fully livable solution.
Right.
But we're definitely open to doing the 30 square metres with no bathroom kitchen.
Will you deliver, friends of mine down the Catlins are looking at one of your designs, and the Catlins is a long way away from Kumeu. Do you deliver down to the South Island?
Yeah, we do. We deliver all over the country. We do have a South Island build branch in Christchurch, and it's only just started. Our main hub is in Auckland, but we do have options to transport from the North Island to the South Island as well. 2 units that we're building in our yard at the moment, they were meant to go down to Wanaka. And yeah, so we can transport all over the country. We're actually in Wellington this weekend finishing off a job that was just transported from Auckland. So yeah, all over the country.
Now, what about Tapware? We were talking to the president of the Master Plumbers Association last week, and he was raising concerns about the high amount of lead in Tapware, and he was encouraging people to really look at the marks on the taps to make sure that what goes in to their builds is of a good quality. Does the client choose the tapware, or does it already come with the building?
I mean, we have a standard set of tapware in our range. Most of it's from the Robertson range, which is good quality.
Yeah.
And then the clients can choose to customise it how they see fit. So most of the time people will choose to move to like a brand like Methfin or someone like that, which are all really good quality tapware.
Oh, great! And so, what's your construction? Is it the standard timber frame construction?
Yeah, that's right. We built it like a traditional home, so it's a solid timber frame, and then we add a rigid air barrier to the exterior, so that just acts as a bracing, and then our cladding our castellated battens go onto that, and then our cladding goes on over the top. So
I,
Still
I
built
think
like a
the
traditional home.
I think the rigid air barrier, a lot more people should do it because it makes the build time, like if you are building outside, like for people that wanting to put an extension on or build new, to put a rigid air barrier on the outside of your framing just makes the building so much more stronger. And I suppose,
Right, I'm going to stop you guys there, you building geeks. Can you explain to us layperson what a rigid air barrier is, please?
well,
Yeah,
I
no
mean, like
worries.
I'll throw my 2 cents in, Jade, and you can then you can well, but you've got your timber framing, and then traditionally you would have building paper on the outside of that, and then you would have a cavity batten, like a 40 by 20 cavity batten that will go onto your building paper, and then you would put your exterior cladding on. But a rigid barrier effectively is like a solid sheet form that goes directly onto your stud work, which makes the building a lot stronger. And I suppose if you're shipping around the country, it's going to make that building a lot stronger and stay true to form when it gets to site.
Yeah, correct. And it also helps for insulation of your home because it basically blocks any airflow between what you would normally have as building paper. So normally you've got your framing and then your building paper. So the building paper can still let breeze through. So you're having such a solid a sheet attached. It also acts as not only a bracing sheet, but it just is good for your ventilation. So, yeah.
And I suppose if you're putting anywhere near coastal, you'll be upgrading the steel on the roof to endure or a coastal form of a product.
Yeah, that's right. So all of the builds are specified to the location that they're going to. So we do right up to extreme high wind zone, coastal environments, and snow loading. So yeah.
Who takes care of the piles when you get? Do you guys take care of all that, or does the client have to get subcontractors in to make sure that the foundation's down before it arrives?
Yeah, so we can look after the foundations. We can either use a screw pile or a micropile. We tend to really like the micropile system because it's just got low environmental impact. You're looking at 7 minutes per pile to install.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the micropile?
Yeah, so the micropile is effectively like a steel base plate that would go on the floor, and then you've got micropiles, which are like long steel pins that get jackhammered into the ground, and then you've got a bracket which fits onto that, and like a 125 by 125 timber post can attach to that. So just effectively it means you don't have concrete trucks and big machinery putting in these piles on site. I guess for us, a lot of the places that we're delivering these nooks to somewhat are hard to reach, so having a system like Micropiles enables us to put in the foundation sort of anywhere with a handheld machine.
Yeah, I didn't even know you could do that for foundations. That sounds super cool. Jade, we're going to have to shoot in a second. Is there anything else you'd like to add? And perhaps let us know how people can get in touch and have a look at your products.
Yeah, sure. So we're reachable on www.nookhomes.co.nz, and we are in Kumeu, and we've got a display studio coming, so we'd love to hear from anyone that wants to come visit us. We are a family-run business that do architecturally inspired prefab homes. And, yeah, thank you so much for having me.
A pleasure. We love your product.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Thanks for your time on a Saturday.